A November evening in 1959 at Madison Square Garden made sports history when hockey clashed head-on with the limits of human biology. Picture a packed arena, and in the middle of it, goaltender Jacques Plante, facing flying pucks without any facial protection. When a vicious shot from Andy Bathgate struck his face, the blood on the ice was more than just an injury. It was a death sentence for an entire era. This moment proved that the speed of the game had outgrown the human body, forcing hockey to surrender to materials science. The evolution from frozen Canadian ponds to modern arenas is a fascinating tale of physical laws, chemical breakthroughs, and the sheer grit of visionaries who reshaped the game forever. It all starts at the heart of the game, the puck. Early players on frozen Canadian lakes experimented with wood, stones, and even frozen cow dung. These improvised pucks behaved unpredictably and shattered easily. The turning point came with rubber vulcanization. By adding sulfur and exposing rubber to high heat, scientists created strong chemical crosslinks, giving the material extreme durability. Yet a modern rubber puck has a flaw. At room temperature, it is far too elastic. Physicists measure this through the coefficient of restitution, or bounciness. A warm puck would bounce around like a playground ball, turning games into chaos. Therefore, pucks are frozen before play to temperatures between -8 and -30 degrees Celsius. High-speed testing at Washington State University confirmed that freezing drops the puck's elasticity by nearly a third, while its stiffness skyrockets by over 600%. On the ice, a frozen puck acts as a dead object, dropping flat upon impact and sliding with minimal friction. The hockey stick underwent a parallel revolution. The first sticks were hand-carved in the 1830s by the Mi'kmaq First Nation in Nova Scotia. They used incredibly dense wood from the American hornbeam tree, dubbed ironwood for its hardness. As these trees grew scarce, artisans transitioned to yellow birch and ash, carving sticks from the natural curve where trunk met root. For over a century, the blade remained completely flat. Then, in the 1960s, Stan Mikita and Bobby Hull began heating and bending their blades. These banana blades gave the puck a gyroscopic spin that stabilized its trajectory. Today, carbon fiber composites have replaced wood, operating on Hooke's law of elasticity. When taking a slap shot, the stick strikes the ice slightly ahead of the puck. The shaft flexes wildly, storing elastic potential energy. As it snaps back, it whips the puck forward like a catapult, exceeding speeds achievable by raw muscle alone. Let's return to the goalie mask and Jacques Plante. The NHL was then a brutal world governed by the dogma that facial protection was cowardice. Goaltender Terry Sawchuk finished his career with over 400 facial stitches. But Plante had enough. Suffering from sinusitis, he had a fiberglass mask molded in 1956, but was only allowed to wear it in practice. Coach Toe Blake forbade it in games, fearing it would limit peripheral vision. However, on that November day in 1959, when a puck shattered Plante's face, he went to the dressing room for stitches and delivered an ultimatum. He would only return with the mask. Blake yielded. Wearing his mask, Plante led Montreal to a victory and an 18-game unbeaten streak. When Blake later pressured him to play one game without it, Montreal lost 3-0. From that night, the mask became standard, inspiring netminders like Jerry Cheevers to paint fake stitches on their masks for every blocked shot. The evolution of hockey would have stalled without resolving the nightmare of maintaining the ice. Before 1949, resurfacing was pure agony. Frank Zamboni, operating the Iceland rink in California, had to send a tractor-pulled scraper onto the ice, followed by a crew to scoop snow, spray water, and squeegee the surface, taking 90 minutes. Determined to find an easier way, Zamboni spent 9 years developing a self-propelled machine, unveiling the Model A in 1949, built with a Jeep engine and a military hydraulic cylinder. Today, a modern resurfacer shaves the surface with a sharp blade. It sprays cold wash water to mix with snow, packing grooves tight with slush. Finally, it releases water heated over 60 degrees Celsius. This hot water melts the top layer of old ice, creating a seamless bond. It also holds fewer dissolved gases, allowing microbubbles to escape, resulting in a harder and clearer sheet of ice. This leap built on a long history of trying to create year-round artificial ice. The earliest attempt in 1841 by Henry Kirk in London failed to last. Lacking refrigeration technology, Kirk used a mixture of pig lard, copper sulfate, and salts, which offered slickness but released a revolting stench. The real breakthrough came in 1876 from John Gamgee, a veterinary surgeon seeking to freeze meat for import. Gamgee laid copper pipes over an insulated floor of concrete and cow hair, pumping a super-chilled solution of glycerin and ether through them. This solution cooled the water on top until it froze into real ice. Although early rinks suffered from thick mist rising off the cold surface, the principle of circulating sub-zero liquid through pipes beneath the floor became the enduring blueprint for modern arenas. Science also rules the arena when emotions boil over and a fight breaks out. Physicist Alain Hachet calculated that an 80-kilogram skater at full speed generates more kinetic energy than a massive NFL lineman sprinting. Yet, in a fistfight, players face biomechanical limits and Newton's third law. The friction coefficient between a steel blade and ice is practically zero due to a microscopic, self-lubricating layer of quasi-liquid water. While a traditional boxer plants their feet against high-friction ground to punch, a skater has no such support. Throwing a punch without an anchor would instantly push the skater backward, draining the strike's power. Players solve this with genius. Right before striking, they firmly grab the opponent's jersey. This closes the mechanical system, prevents slipping, stabilizes their center of gravity, and creates a pivot point to channel rotational energy from hips and shoulders into a devastating punch. The final piece is the hockey jersey, which evolved from heavy wool to high-tech garments. Early players wore thick knitted wool sweaters for warmth in open-air rinks. While wool insulates well, it is highly hydrophilic. During a game, it soaked up sweat and ice shavings, packing on extra pounds of dead weight that fatigued players' muscles. Today's jerseys are made of ultra-lightweight, hydrophobic polyester microfibers utilizing Reebok Edge and Adidas Adizero. Instead of absorbing moisture, these fabrics use capillary action to pull sweat away from the skin to the outer surface, where it evaporates instantly. This moisture wicking keeps the jersey light, while a tailored aerodynamic fit minimizes drag to maximize speed. From frozen ponds, hockey has evolved into a finely tuned laboratory where every split-second movement and piece of gear is governed by physics and chemistry.